Hi everyone, I'm Eric.
And I'm Christopher.
And we're Grow For Me 5B. Today we're going to be adding some evergreens into our garden for winter interest, planting 6 more hydrangeas,
Surprise, surprise.
and adding a vanilla spice Summersweet shrub.
All right, so here is a beautiful Hollywood Juniper. Thank you to one of the big box stores for doing their sale a little bit early at the end of the season. This Hollywood Juniper is from zones 5 to 9 hardiness, and it will quickly grow to about 15 feet tall, 10 feet wide. This is going to add evergreen winter interest to the west side of the house, where right now we've got mostly deciduous stuff. I think it's got kind of a wild habit. It kind of grows all willy-nilly. And
yeah, the other junipers we have are Hetzi columnar junipers, which I think are a little tidier.
Yeah, this is just gonna get a little wild and fun. It almost looks like flames just flickering all over. There are also 3 Danica Arborvitae. They're sort of a globe style. They have a beautiful blue-green color, and I guess they get a little bit more chartreusey green in winter. These kind of bowling ball shape, 4 to 8 zone, will only get 2 feet tall and wide.
Do you think that damage on the side is going to be okay? Let me zoom in a little bit on it. So again, these were a clearance find.
Yeah, these were a clearance find, but I feel like they're going to be okay if we face them this way. They'll rebound. I think they'll be okay.
I mean, you know, at the big box stores, they don't always take the best care of their plants, which is why you should shop your local garden center.
Yes, absolutely. I just couldn't help myself. They were such a pretty color. And then we ended up getting 6 North Pole Arborvitaes that are in the 1 gallon size, also on clearance. These are going to become holiday decorations and possibly the centerpiece of our front containers.
Yeah, my thought was for that price point, for I think it was $12 each, when these mums kick the bucket, we can put them in here to replace the mums for winter interest on the terrace throughout the winter. And then in the front containers, when those mums kick the bucket, we can put them in there and then transplant them when the time comes. So those of you who follow us on Instagram know that the other day I went to a garden center to look at their hydrangea sale, and I came across Let's Dance Can Do. This is a groundbreaking hydrangea brought to us from Spring Meadow, Color Choice Shrubs, Proven Winners. Let's Dance Can Do is a hybrid hydrangea that is a mountain hydrangea crossed with a big leaf hydrangea. So it's hydrangea macrophylla bred with a serrata for extra bud hardiness. What makes Let's Dance Can Do so awesome is that it will bloom from the base of its stem all the way to the top. They get about 3 to 4 feet, or 3 to 4 feet tall and wide, and they are hardy in zones 4 to 9, I believe.
That's great.
Yeah, 4 to 9. So that's a big range. They have great fall color coming on right now. I mean, before we plant them, because they were clearance, I'm going to go through and make sure that there's no slugs or anything that the garden center might have missed on them, but these look really healthy. They're also going to change flower color based on the acidity of the soil. So if we were to put aluminum sulfate in there, they're going to get more of a lavender. We have very neutral soil, so they could probably end up pink if we didn't do anything. So that's the first hydrangea. And then, Christopher, if you follow me over here, I went out on a bridge, went out of our comfort zone, and I found these hydrangeas for $20 each. These are a Monrovia type hydrangea, and they are called Seaside Serenade Cape Lookout. And these get about 3 by 3. This is actually a traditional macrophylla hydrangea, which means it has its buds right now for next year here, which makes me a little bit nervous that if these get damaged this winter, we won't have flowers. So that's one of the reasons that we usually choose a Proven Winners hydrangea, is that they are the leaders in the industry right now as far as hydrangea breeding goes. But I couldn't resist these flowers and these big leaves. Whoops. And I'm really excited.
He's very excited, folks.
To get these in the ground. And I think I have the perfect spot for them. And those of you that watched our last video about fall cleanup might have an idea of where these are going to go. But I am, before I plant these, I'm going to go through and I'm going to get these dead leaves out and, like, look at this Alrighty, see, this stuff like this concerns me. Like, look at that giant hole.
Yeah, the stem really split right there.
Which makes me wonder if there's like a borer in there or if that's just, I don't know. I thought for the price, we could try it. It'll be a good experiment. But yeah, these are traditional big leaf, so they will bloom on old wood. So we don't want to prune these. I am going to deadhead them first, though,
Yeah.
just in case we get a heavy snow or something. We don't want them to snap. But I'm excited. They look like they're going to be beautiful if they work. I think we have a 50-50 shot.
All right, so this vanilla spice sweet shrub, not sweet shrub, summer sweet. We keep calling it summer sweet, sweet shrub. It's going to be sweet in the summer. The vanilla spice variety from Proven Winners is beautiful. It has extra large white blooms. They smell wonderful. They get 3 to 5 wide, 3 to 6 tall, and they're hardy in zones 4 through 9. So this is going to be a perfect addition to the new garden right behind where Eric is standing right now.
And they're very versatile when it comes to sun requirements. It can be full sun, part sun, or even part shade. Is that what it said?
Yeah, it said part shade. So I guess it's going to be a good spot in case that prairie fire crabapple tree it's going near ever gets too big.
So in preparation for planting these, I'm going to go ahead and deadhead them. But I want to show you how you would deadhead a big leaf hydrangea. What you will want to do is you're going to want to find the first set of leaves. This is a good angle right over here, Christopher. That are directly across from each other underneath the bloom. So here, these are not directly across from each other. So I don't want to cut here. These are, and you can see there are little buds right in there. So we want to cut above it. So I'm deadheading the hydrangea to protect it from winter weight of snow and ice, but I'm not cutting off next year's buds. If I were to deadhead or cut down here, I would cut those off. So this one looks fine. This looks like a fresher bloom, but I'm still going to go ahead, find the 2 branches that are directly across from each other, and deadhead there. Again, we're being very conscientious of where we're cutting these blooms because this hydrangea blooms on old wood. The other thing I want to do is because it is a clearance plant, I want to go through and like cut off anything that's damaged, anything that's dead. Like look at this branch was obviously cut awkwardly right there. I'm going to cut it right here. There's certainly some questionable growth here. This looks like it might be dead altogether, so I'll cut that. I'm going to pull out any of this foliage. That looks icky. Thank you for helping, Christopher.
I'm here to help.
We always joke with our friend Sky of Hamilton House Designs because she's the hydrangea queen. And I'm like, we're the hydrangea kings. But she teases us because she does a lot of big leaves and we really don't do like a true macrophylla because we don't do princess plants, and if the plant can't survive and work for us,
it's going.
We get rid of it. So I'm hopeful that Seaside Serenade is not going to be a princess plant, that it will just
do well. And then there's an entire line of the Seaside Serenades named after all different cities.
Yeah, all different towns on the coast. Oh. So I'm going to go ahead and keep doing this with all 3, and then we will show you where they're going in the ground. So I've gone ahead and I have placed the 3 Cape Lookout hydrangeas underneath our Eastern Redbud. They are kind of behind Gertrude Jekyll, and they are under the redbud, so they're not going to be in full sun. They're going to get a nice filtered light throughout the day. That'll help protect them. They are near banana cream daisies. There is a Tough Stuff Top Fun hydrangea here as well. There's some beautiful grasses behind them, Mary Rose, a thalictrum that was cut down in the last video. I think this would be a great spot. We have had annuals in this spot the last couple of years. This past year we had Rockin' Blue Suede Shoes, and it did very well for us, not as well as it normally has because the light in this area has diminished since the redbud has gotten so big. So I thought this would be a great spot to try these out at.
Yeah, and since we're a little bit worried about bud hardiness, this spot between the red bud and just the fact that the terrace is directly behind us, I think it might get a bit of protection from the wind. So it'll be kind of tucked into a little pocket of the garden.
Yeah, and I think the foliage is so broad that it'll have a nice contrast with the roses, and then the bloom color will be totally different than the ones around it. So I'm going to go ahead and get these in the ground with a little biotone.
The soil here should be absolutely incredible. It's one of our oldest pieces of garden.
Oh, and I think I hit it.
Did you cut a drip line?
No,
with
I
your...
didn't cut it. I was
Okay.
very gentle.
Okay, good.
I'm trying to be very cognizant of the drip.
This area has an entire grid. It was my first real learning experience with a grid drip.
This is like exactly where two pieces of drip merge. So I might have to adjust.
Is it going right in a little corner?
Yep. But then I also feel like this should be the last one I plant, so I have room to be on the ground here.
That's a really good idea.
Jeez Louise. It is deep enough.
It's
though.
perfect.
That's good to know.
It's good to know for when you get back to that side. I think this is the first time we are planting something because a tree has changed the light in our area.
Probably.
Does that make us grown-up gardeners because we have a moderately, not really, but kind of mature tree?
Well, I'm really glad I didn't take the auger back here. If I brought the auger back here, we'd be out of drip line.
A root.
And a root.
And probably your hip, because it would have caught the root and smashed you.
Please pardon my heavy breathing into the microphone. So a lot of people have recommended in our hardiness zone that we put chicken wire around these and fill them with leaves to cover them and protect those buds. Again, this is more of an experimental planting for us. We just want to see how these seasides do for us. You know what I mean?
I agree. I think it's a nice way this time of year to pick up plants at a discount, knowing that you want to try something out, as opposed to paying full price at the beginning of the season. And if then it doesn't survive, then you're going to be really mad. I'll tell you what, you're going to be so happy from this angle with that big leaf.
I will miss those annuals back here, but
yeah, that pop of blue was really pretty.
Well, in theory, assuming these survive, I'll miss the annuals.
And if they don't survive, guess what? We're putting annuals back in there.
And so I want to make sure that I plant them deeply, but I don't plant up over the crown because we are going to compost these.
Compost around them as mulch, not put them
Yes.
in the compost.
Oh yeah, we're not.
We're going to just throw these out before they have a chance.
That came out wrong.
The spacing's really nice.
Good.
We do, in general, plant things slightly closer, but this is supposed to be a garden and not a museum, right?
Yeah, also, it's not commercial landscape. Like, this is a garden. Like, we do a contemporary cottage aesthetic. So these are going to be like a very full drift.
Yes, it'll be a nice full drift. And frankly, even if we don't get blooms the first year, I do think this leaf contrast, especially next to the polemonium, the heaven sent Jacob's ladder over there, that almost ferny texture, that'll be its own show.
And I did hear from Monrovia on Instagram, and they said to be patient with the Seaside Serenade series because they might not bloom as quickly as hydrangeas we are used to. So I will keep that in mind. How does it look from the hydrangea room angle?
Well, let me go over there. Do, 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 do. It's very nice. You can see some of the red buds already been limbed. Not limbed up, thinned out a little bit. There were just some tiny little branches Eric took out just to give it more airiness. Eric, would it be crazy to put one of the North Pole Arborvitaes in this little Campagna urn for the season?
Oh, for the winter? That might be cute. So I'm just finishing up this bed. They've been watered in. And I'm just going to top them off with a little compost. We use compost as mulch.
And that's it then, right? For the rest of the season on these?
That's it. I mean, they're going to drop their leaves, but we don't have to worry about anything else. I don't believe so.
And then I guess the only thing, if it doesn't rain, we'll give them some supplemental water through about Thanksgiving.
Yeah. So we've got about, how close is Thanksgiving?
5.5
Wow.
weeks.
Yikes.
Okay, so here is an area where a perennial has gone crazy. This is only 3 Walker's Low catmint. They have grown into this little baby Earth Angel rose. They're getting right up into the Sugar Shack button bush. And so I want to climb in here. Let's cut this back.
Yeah, this was a particularly wild Walker's Low. I mean, we didn't plant it with any different spacing or anything unique to this trio. It just happened to be...
It only got watered by the sprinkler too.
Yeah, it was just very vigorous this year. There's a little Earth Angel rose poking up right there.
Normally when we cut catmint back, we get out the hedge trimmers, but
this is an impromptu cutting back of catmint. And then when we go inside, our cats are very affectionate.
Even more than usual.
Check out the fall color on this Sugar Shack button bush. Update on the Astatiavi transplant. Leafed out, looking good. Do you think there were little critters around the base of that one? It looks like there might have been like
there
something.
were critters.
Yeah.
You can tell there were some in there.
Some critters living under there, which is funny because I feel like catmint is supposed to be a smell that deters critters
instead of attracts them in droves. All right, so those are cleaned up, and we have inadvertently created a little collection of natives. We have Invincibelle lace, a newer hydrangea that is the first lace cap arborescence or smooth leaf, the Annabelle style of hydrangea, and it's very close to the native in North America. This is a shad blow. This is the Almenchior, which can be a small tree or shrub. It didn't do so well the first place we had it. Here we're just going to let it do whatever it wants. It's going to be great. This Arborvitae, the thuja, is also related to native.
And that's a sting arborvitae, so that'll say very narrow.
Nice and tall. And this is the Sugar Shack button bush that is another native. We know that this will get 4 to 5 feet wide, and this is getting close to its full size. I feel like this is actually a really good hole. This is where something had died and we removed it. We just couldn't see the hole under that catmint. We might have to transplant this one catmint over a little bit, but I think that's a good spot.
I think you're on the right track.
Not a lot of work for me here.
No, this is a very easy one because it's a little 1 gallon. Maybe we can take that one catmint, divide it, and put it in front of the shad blow.
Oh, this is dry. Very, very dry.
I'm sure you can appreciate Christopher and mine's very different planting styles.
Done.
All right. Let's get it watered in and throw some compost on there. All right, full disclosure, I think, Christopher, if I was with you, I wouldn't have let you purchase these.
They were very
like,
inexpensive.
How much were they?
I want to say they ended up being 12. And for this size evergreen, I felt like that was a really good price.
We're going to have to baby them.
Yes, because this area...
really be careful of how we place them. Make sure that side is placed to the back.
Of course. And this area we chose for these arborvitaes because we're lacking winter interest here. Everything here is deciduous except for the blue feathers Hinoki cypress.
And the ember waves.
And ember waves. That one. And then there's nothing evergreen until you get to that one sprinter boxwood over there. So how about 3 little globes right here?
I think it'll be cute. I think we'll have to see how they look when they're in the ground and hope they rebound.
I think they will. Let me get these raspberry cream gomphrena out and we'll get started. All right, pop-up bag. Gloves. Where'd those gloves go?
Somewhere.
They were in my pocket.
Oh.
Ha ha ha. Didn't think I was that crafty, did ya?
Oh, the last of your babies.
The last of my baby gomphrena. I'm going to need a couple years off from gomphrena. And I know Bethany Bay, the Chicago gardener on Instagram and YouTube, she will plant lots of gomphrena for me.
In spirit?
Yes.
They look great.
These look so good.
So sad to pull them, but you know, the frost is coming. And as soon as the frost comes, they're goners.
They're goners. But yeah, I will take a couple years off from the trauma of losing so many seedlings.
Oh, we've unearthed some wild berry heuchera. Let's place these. What's the least ugly side of those? Why did they look like that? Were they just pressed super close
They were
together?
all pressed very close to each other.
See, the big box stores don't take care of their stuff. So if you're going to shop there
were more of these.
Were those the best ones?
Uh-huh.
That's terrible.
I feel like that's the look.
That's the look. Yeah, let's see how they do.
They won't be in such a straight line when they're in the ground, though. I'll make them curve a little bit.
Yeah. So as Christopher's digging this hole around the drip line, this is a newer bed, probably within the last 2 years. You can see the soil is still pretty sandy. We will compost with mulch. We've got our coral bells.
Mulch with compost.
We will compost with mulch. We will mulch with compost. Good catch. We do have our coral bells here. We'll do a little mini tour while Christopher's working.
I love those coral bells.
I know, they're covered with grass clippings right now. Because I started using the side shoot on the mower as the grass has been growing so quickly in the fall. But it's making a mess in the beds. Normally I use the mulching setting, but you gotta do what you gotta do. The limelight hydrangea hedge is looking lovely. Been cutting flowers off of it. A lot of them did get burned though. We did have a huge heat wave. So some of them are not looking great. I mean, it looks pretty good on camera, but not so much in person. We have some annuals left over here. Some Rockin' Deep Purple. Woolerton Old Hall is growing very nicely up this trellis. This is the Essex Half Trellis from Gardeners. We're so lucky we live so close to Gardeners. I mean, I say so close, but it's 2.5 hours. But we can go to that overstock clearance tent. But if you order this stuff online, it does arrive very nicely. How's it going, Christopher?
It's going well.
Is that too deep?
It's not.
Okay.
Because look, that's nice.
Oh, yeah, there's a little bit of a hill here. All right, they are planted in.
I think they look great. The dead parts are really underneath.
Yeah.
They have a
Dead
nice
parts.
They have a nice curved shape.
Yeah, I think they'll reflush. They look great from this angle.
Right? I think they're beautiful. Danica
Yeah.
Arborvitae.
I like it. Sweet. Just like you.
Me.
Christopher, what are you doing?
We gotta clean these perennials and annuals out.
He just ripped
Rip them out.
the Rockin' Deep Purple out and then cut the Silver Artemisia back to the ground. Willy-nilly. Oh, we gotta get this one little rogue branch of Woolerton Old Hall back into this trellis. Yeah, there's all those grass clippings from not having the mulch setting on the mower. And we have that rogue grass growing in there. We have to figure out a way to get rid of it that won't damage the roads.
I'm thinking maybe lawnweed brew.
Maybe.
One of those all natural chemical types.
Oh my God. This is also Christopher's favorite rake.
Everyone needs a Fiskars breach tight spaces, lightweight aluminum and resin shrub rake. Very technical.
I know. I think you put it in our Amazon store, right?
I did, and believe it or not, a couple people have actually run to their Amazons and to our store to buy it. And I'm happy to hear that because everyone needs this rake.
I mean, it's true. We are not pushers. I mean, other than coral bells, hydrangeas, and roses. But like that's one of our favorite tools.
We have 2 of them.
Yeah. Well, one I ran over with a lawnmower and broke one of the tines off.
All right, that's good for now. Let's move on to our plantings down this way.
All right. Oh, you already placed it.
Yeah, I already placed it.
This is a Vanderwolf pine, by the way. Look at the color. I mean, it's gorgeous. I think this is going to be a great place. I think it's far enough away from the house. Junipers handle pruning very well. But you can see we just need that structure.
Yeah. We have the weeping white spruce, which we're training to be on the tall side because we don't want that snuffleupagus look that weeping white spruce, not weeping white spruce, weeping Norway spruce.
Oh yeah.
But we
need
need
weeping white in the back.
I think we also need that chartreuse solid, not chartreuse, that deep green color next to the variegation of the Shiloh splash.
Yeah,
birch.
that's what this side is missing. It's missing the weight.
Yeah.
A lot of floof.
A lot of floof. So let me get in here and mess with it, and we'll decide what the placement's gonna be. These and these 2 will both get similarly sized.
What will get similarly sized?
The Shiloh Splash and the Hollywood Juniper.
Oh, I thought you meant the Shiloh Splash and the white Rose of Sharon. I was like, no, they will not. That's a pillar Rose of Sharon, so that's probably as wide as it'll get.
Yeah, and even if it gets a little wider, it has such a loose, cool habit. I think it'll play well with others.
We prune our junipers all the time. So easy to keep them size controlled.
Shall I plant this almost exactly where it is?
I think so. Can you rotate it so that one wild branch goes forward? Keep going a little bit. Perfect.
That's it?
Yeah, that's the direction as we planted in. This one is a better specimen from the clearance section.
There were 2 of them and I almost got them both, but you know, I keep buying trees and he keeps telling me to stop buying trees. So
such a buzzkill.
He's right. I have to stop buying trees. I think I may, in fact. Is that?
I don't mean stop buying trees. I'm just saying buying trees willy-nilly. Higgledy-piggledy.
Higgledy-piggledy trees. That's not the way to... Well, now, because we have figured it out. Like, we're pretty much done with our big structural...
I don't know. I feel like the back center of the garden... I know in our heads we're like, oh, we'll do a glass greenhouse there. I don't know if that's like an actual reality that'll happen.
Or is it just the reality of, can we wait to be able to make that happen and see that big giant clump of lawn in the middle in the meantime?
But I also feel like at the rate that we plant, we're going to need more space.
Look behind you. Look at that empty fence, just begging for planting.
That's true. It is begging. It's saying, plant me. That Monrovia can is very skinny and tall.
It is.
That is a pretty color, Juniper.
Oh, it's not. It's deep in the can. So yeah, the root ball isn't quite as deep.
Those roots are really dark colored.
Is that it?
Let's see. So we walk from this angle. Rotate a little counterclockwise, please. A little more. Yes. That is it. I think it's straight up and down.
It's actually staked, believe it or not.
Oh, let's unstake it. Is it tied to the stake? I think they do that for shipping purposes.
This is a good stake. This is steel.
Are you kidding?
That's why it was heavy. That's the The whole tree weighs nothing without
I've
it.
never seen a steel stake in a tree. So this is another shrub that we are removing from the garden. This is a type of snowberry. I don't remember. I want to say like scarlet snowberry
I
or
think it was
something.
scarlet pearl snowberry.
And we had found it again on clearance, and we thought, oh, it's one of those things we'll try. And so we've had it for about 3 or 4 seasons now. And it was one of those things where we really wanted a proudberry coralberry, but we couldn't find them in our area. And we found these, and we thought, well, this is a great substitute. But if you come and look, it's just not. Like, it blooms the pink, or it blooms and then it has pink berries, but then they just kind of rot and fall off.
Yeah, they're not cool.
So we're just getting rid of it. And we're going to pull these in patience. And then we're going to put our 3 Let's Dance Can-Dos right here.
Beautiful,
And this,
beautiful.
yeah, this snowberry is going in the compost pile.
And this is your permission from us to you. If you don't love something, get it out of your garden. Gardens are to be loved and relax and all that kind of stuff.
And I feel like we gave it a fair shake.
We did. We gave this a couple years and it just never reached its potential.
More than a couple. I mean, I'm saying probably 4 or 5 years.
Gosh.
Well, not 5, because I don't think we planted it our first season.
No.
So 4. All right. And then
pull these in patience. Again,
they look so good though.
I know this is hard. This is definitely a hard one. We planted these at the middle of the garden season, right? These were...
Yeah, just before the garden show. All right, so we have the 3 Let's Dance Can-Dos placed. These are 3 gallons. They are a nice hearty size for $25. I mean, I feel like that's a deal. These bloom on old and new wood. They bloom from toe to tip. They are on the west side of the house, so they're going to get sun starting here on the south side at about noon, and they will get sun for the rest of the day. So I think they'll be really happy here. What do you think?
I think this is a really nice spot for them.
Yeah, they get about 3 to 4 feet tall and wide, so I think they're probably a little snug right now, but I think it'll just be really full and lush and beautiful.
Yeah, I agree. It's a skinny piece of the border and there's a sprinkler head in there, so I might bump it a little forward, but we can adjust that next year.
Yeah. I'd love to put aluminum sulfate in the hole while planting them to get blue blooms, but we don't have any. So maybe next spring when we're fertilizing, we can throw some down?
That sounds good to me.
All right.
Remember when we used to have roses there?
Oh, yeah. They didn't do well here. There was some sort of landscape rose.
Yeah, that might have been before we had drip irrigation and before we knew about gardening.
Maybe.
It's amazing the things you learn along the way.
I am very excited about this variety because it's a breakthrough variety.
And we saw a hedge of this. They have it right outside the Spring Meadow Nursery offices. And they were commenting that they noticed it had the fastest rebloom time, meaning after it bloomed, the time it took for a new flower to form was one of the quickest they had seen.
Right now I'm trying to get this tag off of this branch, so maybe I can break it without breaking a stem. That's like my one gripe with these tags, is if you leave them, they look terrible. Oh, there we go. All right, Let's Dance Can-Do can get in the ground. Oh my God, probably not. Don't have that strong of abs. All right, how's that?
It's so good.
I know, it's a great specimen. Very happy with this one.
You know, I guess I never think of hydrangeas as being something with fall interest other than the last of the blooms. But these darker leaves, they're right in the oak leaf hydrangea territory for beautiful color. All right, Eric, while you finish that up, I'm gonna cut back a couple other perennials that need to go.
Okay.
Just gonna show you guys.
You'll probably just hear me huffing and puffing in the background on my microphone.
I'm gonna take out these raspberry cream agastache because they're looking pretty gross. I'll leave the Baptisia for right now because they're looking fine. This Liatris, I think he's gonna stay because there are seed heads and that's good for the foragers. Also this wild bergamot that was planted from seed, it's kind of covering up this whole area here. I'm gonna cut that down. Wait. Nope, seed heads, I'm gonna leave that too. Anything with seed heads, I feel like it's good for the birdies in the wintertime. So I'll just take those hyssop, the agastache, and these daylilies, and that'll have this area tidied.
All right, so here we are with the Let's Dance can-dos in the ground. They are all planted up. We have them mulched with compost. I am really excited for these hydrangeas. They are a breeding breakthrough for Proven Winners Color Choice shrubs. They bloom on old and new wood from toe to tip, and I just think they're gonna love it here, and I think we are going to really enjoy them next season.
Well, we've been out here so long that our microphones have given up on us. So apologies for this final bit of sound.
I know, but yeah, we got so much done today. We got the can-dos planted, the Seaside Serenade Cape Lookouts planted, the Summersweet.
Yeah, Summersweet Vanilla Spice.
3 little Arborvitaes and the Hollywood Juniper. So again, I'm Eric.
And I'm Christopher.
And we're growing, what? We're Grow For Me 5B.
Thanks for growing with us. We need some dinner.